Loud? We're good?
We're good. Let's just go ahead and get started.
Not too fast.
Family,
Singing in the kitchen,
family,
running through the yard,
family,
going on vacation,
family,
on a credit card,
family,
all in this together,
family,
we're taking a chance,
family,
like birds of a feather,
family.
kick off your shoes and
Hey!
dance.
Family,
On the way to the city,
family,
laughing in the rain,
family,
it ain't always pretty,
family,
can drive you insane.
family,
Got the keys to the kingdom.
family,
Take it out apart.
family,
All in this together.
family.
We're taking a shower.
Hey!
The tones can't lose 'em. We all have a song to sing. Some are crazy, some are amazing. All got a little bit of everything.
Hey! Family,
The sons and daughters,
family,
like a photograph.
family,
Baptized in the water.
family,
Put me on the map.
family,
All in this together.
Family.
We're taking a chance.
family.
Like birds of a feather.
Family.
Kick off your shoes and dance.
Hey! 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 Hey!
Family. 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 Thank you. Thank you.
Today we have with us Reverend Madeline Diemer. We are so happy to have her back with us again. Thank you. Yes. Yes. And we're so looking forward to hearing what you have to share with us. And the talk title is Assessing Our Blessings. And before we hear from our music group, I'd like to share an inspirational reading, and it speaks on appreciation. And it reads as such, and I quote, "I appreciate all that I am. To recognize with gratitude is to honor someone or something. Am I appreciating myself and those around me? My true nature, my I am, is born of the divine. I am stronger than I believe. Living from my spiritual essence, I enjoy more blessings, peace, power, and appreciation than I could ever imagine. I cherish my relationships and carefully nurture them. I have a full, rich life with divine beings that I respect and admire. My experiences in life can also be gratifying, even during painful times. Each one is an opportunity to learn and to grow along my spiritual journey. Practicing gratitude opens the way to greater happiness. I appreciate all that I am." And so it is. And so it is. And let us now listen to Carol and the Goodfellows singing Grateful.
I'd like you to take a minute and just close your eyes, go back into that meditative place. Steve, if you could turn the lights down just a little bit, the house lights, and just take these words to be your own.
Today I start with gratitude. 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 Today I start with gratitude.
Grateful, 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 grateful.
Today I start with gratitude. Today I start with gratitude. Today I start with gratitude. Today I start with gratitude.
Joy fills my heart. Joy fills my heart. If my only prayer would thank you, that would be enough.
Joy and sorrow both can bless me.
So I breathe and know and trust.
Grateful, 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 grateful.
Joy fills my
Today I
heart.
start with gratitude.
Joy fills my
Today
heart.
I start with gratitude.
Joy fills my
Today
heart.
I start with gratitude.
Joy fills my
Today I
heart.
start with gratitude.
Joy fills my heart. Joy fills my heart.
Grateful, 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 grateful.
That was absolutely beautiful. It bathed my heart. It was wonderful. Thank you, thank you. It's wonderful to be here again today. I'm really looking forward to being with all of you. Thank you. And you know, this is a real blessing. You already know this. I'm telling you this again. One of the biggest blessings is this temple. You know, I've been around spiritualist churches for longer than I care to admit. And often a particular center will last for quite a while. But what is different about the temple is it's the same pastor, 62 years. That is amazing. Amazing. So here I am, amazed. So the title, Assessing Our Blessings, well, that seems a little left brain, right brain, doesn't it? But then today, you know, and you played the music today for when you're worried and you can't sleep, what do? You begin counting your blessings. And so there are so many we have that how can we absolutely list all of them? The biggest one we have is the gift of life. That is the biggest blessing ever. And of course, I'm not talking about just any kind of life, you know, because there's the zombie approach, right? Or the Walking Dead approach. No. We're talking about real life, joyous, abundant, and overflowing, and just how wonderful, wonderful that is. So one of the things that we have to do early on is to give guilt a big kick, right? Because it tends to try to come in and rob that joyousness and rob that feeling of life. Well, you know, guilt is a learned behavior. You know, I guarantee that when you spit up on your dad's shoulder and cried for milk, you didn't feel guilty then, right? You learned. Someone taught you. Well, of course, one of the major words in the guilt vocabulary is should. And most of you know what Dwayne Dyer had to say about that. Don't let anybody should on you. Don't let anybody should on you. But we all do that. We get into the shoulda, I should have done this, I should have done that. And you know, if we just make a simple change in the first couple of letters and we say, I could have done this, but I didn't. I wonder why. And that truly will lead us into a path of self-understanding and will certainly help us. Guilt can actually be a cop-out because if we feel bad about what we've done or what we failed to do, pretty soon we say, oh, well, I guess I'll do nothing. That's the safe way. And it becomes a cop-out. Now, there are some folks who believe in original sin, and they believe that we came to earth vacuum-packed in sin. Oh, please, can we all roll our eyes together? Oh my gosh. I mean, really, with a baby, you know, you're thinking about it. How much mischief can a baby get into in 9 months? Where can they go to do anything? And let's face it, we all kicked our mothers, every one of us. And sometimes gleefully. Sometimes gleefully, we did that. And so we want to be able to look at this whole topic and be able to release it, because truly we were born in grace. We were born in grace. Now, let's suppose we do some things that are deserving of guilt. What then? Well, the sages tell us that guilt was created to be here on earth so that we would have more compassion and understanding for others. And certainly that does work. And so in this wonderful life we have, one of the ways we experience life is in the spirit of renewal. And that is, if we're lucky, we feel that way when we first wake up in the morning because we've had a good night's sleep. Now today, we sleep about average 6 hours. 100 years ago, as we go back generations, they slept 9 hours. Well, sign of the times, isn't it? But the renewal is wonderful, and it can come in so many different ways. Maybe Mother Nature. Several years ago, my husband and I, with our 3 children and our family dog, decided to take a trip up north in a VW Bug. Ouch. At the end of the day, we're all barking at one another. And then we piled out, and this campsite was on Brandywine Creek somewhere. And the beauty of the nature, the trees arching over, just like we felt like we were in a cathedral. It was absolutely breathtaking. And right there in that moment, we were all renewed, happy to unpack the car, do this and do that. So the spirit of renewal, we thank God for that, right? We thank also for the times that God intervenes and helps us. My niece's husband, Carl, he was a POW. He came home back into civilian life. And what happened with him is he had a ruptured appendix. He was rushed to the hospital. They got it in time. Wonderful. He recovered. And he lived many years. But what was interesting about this is that at Christmas time, we had taken holiday photos. Well, thank God the photos weren't developed until spring. For once in my life, procrastination paid off. I was glad. So anyway, we look at the photos, and here is Carl, and he's sitting in this chair. What's hanging over him is this black wreath. Oh, yes, you could say, okay, it was backlit. Of course, that's what caused it, but it doesn't matter. It's still ominous. And what I realized was a deep sense of gratitude that we hadn't seen that picture earlier. By this time, he had already had his surgery, because we would have given weight to a negative prophecy. You know that routine. And that can happen with it. It can happen with a diagnosis. It can happen with something someone says. We give God the power. We give God the power to intervene. So he lived many years. A few years ago, when I went to the doctor told me that I had cancer. And she just happened to have a friend who was an oncologist, So I left there not feeling happy camper. And so a couple days later, the spirit of Dr. Carl Simonton appeared to me. And most of you know that he was the leader, the trailblazer in teaching people how to visualize. Like a Pac-Man that would gobble up all the cancer cells, right? And so his spirit came to me, and he said very bluntly, don't let them bully you. You don't have cancer. So on the strength of that, I said, bye-bye. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. Now, maybe I wouldn't have had the courage if it hadn't been for Louise Hay. We all know about Louise Hay, and we love her because, again, she was advised to have surgery, and she said no, because pretty soon you're going to cut Louise, and there'll be no more Louise left. And you know what an astounding recovery that she made. So we're all very, very grateful to her for that. So we have to protect this life. That's the point. We have to protect this wonderful life we have. Now, they're all life extensions. And life extensions happen more frequently than you could possibly imagine. But I'd like to tell you about one. And first, I have to go back to the Bible, to King Hezekiah. And King Hezekiah, as you probably know, was dying. Isaiah the prophet came to him and said, you've had it, settle your affairs. You're not going to recover from this illness. That's it. Well, of course, Hezekiah didn't take this lying down, did he? He prayed earnestly to God, very earnestly. So what happened? Isaiah came back. Well, the Lord has heard you and heard your prayers, and so you're going to live another 15 years, and you'll recover. And to show that this is really God talking and not somebody else, he will take the shadow on the sundial and he will reverse it by 10 degrees. So God did all this. And Hezekiah went on to live his 15 years. So fast forward up to the present. Here is Tracy, who is brought here to Tampa Bay area by her boyfriend because she is dying. He takes her to her mother's and leaves. So here she is, and she has 2 small daughters. And her mother is, as you can imagine, is worried sick, right? And Tracy says, no, Mom, don't worry, because there's going to be an angel. An angel's going to take care of me. And sounds like denial, doesn't it? But it wasn't. It wasn't. And what happened was Tracy got a job on the night shift at an all-night donut shop. So one night, 4 people came in, 2 men and 2 women. Well, when the man got ready to pay his bill, he said, "Young lady, if you don't see a doctor, you're going to die." And she said, "Well, I know that, but I don't have any insurance. I don't have any money." And he said, "You come see me." And he hands her his business card. And the woman that is there with him says, "It's okay, don't worry, he's really a doctor, it's okay." Got to think about these things, right? So the doctor had asked her, how much money did you have? She said, $5. $5. So she goes to this doctor. This goes into a hospital stay. This goes into some radiation, some chemotherapy. That doesn't work. So then the top surgeon in the area comes and removes her thyroid because her throat's all swollen, you see. Okay, so she was in the hospital for about a month. She comes out, and she is healed. She said, "I had an angel doctor, I had an angel nurse." And so now Tracy is at 34 years later and still counting. Still counting. So it's just those miracles. We want to take them. We want to take them into account. All right. So we all know here that we have an afterlife, which is one of our biggest blessings. Unfortunately, I guess it could be a blessing for somebody else, but we won't go there, right? No, I won't go there. Okay. So we have this wonderful afterlife, and we live differently because we know there's a life beyond this one. So we have to stay on our toes, as it were. But everyone here knows about their forever home and knows that when we pass from earth, when we die, we still have a consciousness which does not die. And every day we build our consciousness. Every day we work on our forever home. So every time you respect someone else's opinion, even when you don't agree with them, you are raising your consciousness. You have raised your consciousness. Every time you refrain from saying, "This is driving me crazy." It's one of my favorite sayings, actually, but here we go. We want to stop and say, okay, what can I do to correct this? What can I do to correct this? I've taken the trip to Arcadia with my psychology class, and the professor said, "You know something? All these people here are volunteers." "What? What are you talking about?" He said, at some point, they gave up. They didn't want to do away with themselves, so they made a decision to go crazy. So here, that's another big gift. is knowing how to go crazy and come back. It's a big gift, big, 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 big blessings. Okay, so there's a couple more of these. And one, of course, is every time you refuse to give in or give up, you're raising up your consciousness, right? You are. Every time you reserve time for spirit and you listen to what you're receiving from spirit, every word, and follow your intuition, you have built your consciousness. The point of all of this is that you are more like God than you thought. You are more like God than you think you are. Every day in every way. You are bonded, and every day in every way, God reminds you, or you remind God, one way or another. One way or another. And that is the biggest blessing. The biggest blessing is that all of us are imbued with the Holy Spirit. All of us can lean on that. All of us can lean on that. And as we close here today, perhaps you will repeat with me. Spirit is guiding me. Spirit is guiding me today and every day. And every day. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Madeline. Thank you for blessing us. We look forward to your return. To be continued. So we'll now move into our time of tithes and offerings. We invite you to take your tithes and your gifts in your hands and bless them. And those that are also on social media, we invite you to press the donate button if you're on our website, or if you're on YouTube, then you can actually go to our website, which is tlgtemple.org, and press the donate button there. And so we thank you in advance as well. I would invite the ushers to come forth at this time. Let us pray. Infinite source of all life, we give thanks for this wonderful opportunity to be able to share the gifts from our hearts. We know that these gifts that come forth to bless this temple and the work that is being done. And we acknowledge that divine love moving in and through each and every one of us blesses and multiplies all that we have, all that we give, and all that we receive. And so it is. Amen. And now, Carol and the Goodfellows singing, Don't Worry, Be Happy.
All right, we'd like you to join us.
Here's a little song I wrote. You might want to sing it note for note. Don't worry. Be happy. In every life we have some trouble, but when you worry you make it double. Don't worry. Be happy. Don't worry, be happy. Don't worry. Be happy. Don't worry, be happy. Don't worry. Be happy. Hey, Carol, tell us all about it.
Don't have no place to lay your head. Somebody came and they took your bed.
Oh, man.
Don't worry.
Don't worry.
Be happy.
No place to sleep tonight. Oh,
Landlord said your rent is late.
oh, again.
Just might have to litigate. Don't worry.
Don't worry, lawyer.
Don't worry about it.
Be happy. Don't worry. Be happy now.
Don't worry.
Hey, here's my phone number. Give me a call. I make you happy.
Don't worry. Be happy. Tell us all about it, Richard. Tell us all about it.
Ain't got no cash, ain't got no style. Ain't got no girl to keep me smile. Don't worry.
Nah, don't worry about that too much.
I'll be happy.
Yeah.
Cause when you worry, your face will frown. And that'll bring everybody down. Don't worry.
Don't worry about it.
Just be happy. Don't worry. Be happy. Don't worry, be happy.
One more time, everybody. Don't worry, be happy.
Oh yeah. She's happy.
Don't worry, be happy.
Yeah.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Have a wonderful
Hey,
Sunday.
have a
We'll
good
see you
day.
next week.